Really inflammatory.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like I hate
We're recording.
poetry or something of that kind. You know?
Okay.
So we're live now.
Okay.
All right.
So you, like we said, you can read something you wrote or read something that you like, or just listen. It's up to you. I'll just, for everyone to warm up, I'll just read something that's a recent poem. A reawakening. The truth breaks through the shell. It gains a foothold, walks down the path of memory without falling. It finds wisdom in the blue sky, a way to go beyond myself.
Ooh, Fred. That is
Nice.
lovely.
I like that.
Wow.
Billy Collins, he's a U.S. Poet Laureate at some point. So Billy Collins, this is called Moon. The moon is full tonight. An illustration for sheet music. An image in Matthew Arnold glimmering on the English Channel, or a ghost over a smoldering battlefield in one of the history plays. It's as full as it was in that poem by Coleridge, where he carries his year-old son into the orchard behind the cottage and turns the baby's face to the sky to see for the first time the earth's bright companion, something amazing to make his crying seem small. And if you wanted to follow this example, tonight would be the night to carry some tiny creature outside and introduce him to the moon. And if your house has no child, you can always gather into your arms the sleeping infant of yourself, as I have done tonight, and carry him outdoors, all limp in his tattered blanket, making sure to steady his lolling head with the palm of your hand. And while the wind ruffles the pear trees in the corner of the orchard, and dark roses wave against a stone wall, you can turn him on your shoulder and walk in circles on the lawn, drunk with the light. You can lift him up into the sky, your eyes nearly as wide as his, as the moon climbs high into the night.
Oh my. Who was that by?
Billy Collins.
Billy.
Amanda Gorman, she's the new youth poet laureate. I mean, did you?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, she has some.
He read a poem at the Super Bowl.
Oh,
did
really?
It was incredible. The pregame.
Oh my God.
She
Wow.
read a poem about what it
Yeah.
does
Wow.
together.
What was it about?
It was about what teamwork or things bring us together or something. It was
Wow.
really moving.
That's one reason why I always watch the Super Bowl, is I'm always interested in what poetry is going to be read.
Hey, Tom Brady was poetry in motion.
Oh, yes, yes.
True.
I want to read something for Black History Month. This is called The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes.
Right.
And I wish I had James Earl Jones here to read it to you, but
We have you.
it deserves that kind of gravity, but I'll do my best. The Negro Speaks of Rivers. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
Oh,
I love that. I think I heard that lately somewhere, and
oh,
I don't remember where, but this is the second time I've heard it in the last couple weeks,
wow.
Well, that's
or read
not
it somewhere.
because it would go so well with, I mean, Hughes wrote a lot of wonderful poems, but this might be the one that especially relates to history.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
You
that's
know.
true.
More than any of the others. So.
yeah. This is a new one also. I tried to talk. I stumble on the syllables and forget vowels. Sentences become an interrupted paragraph. I block feelings from delivering their telegrams. Wisdom turns to ashes, leaving me cold and silent. Intense sadness gets thrown into a box and sealed. I should no longer be surprised by being paralyzed. I feel like a visitor in my own house. The rhythm of discomfort rocks me. I dig deeper for shelter, finding a song I can sing that leads me to a place where I can talk about reassurance, where I secretly smuggle in grit and conviction. Thoughts swim out of the fog. Something productive rolls out of my mouth, surprised by my ability.
Wow.
I love poetry. All right, so this is by Julianne McAdams. She was the English teacher in the Westchester neighborhood school when I was the science teacher there. And she writes a lot of poetry. The old school, this is called The End of Time. The old school ways are slowly giving up to technology. GPS replaces paper maps. Calendar apps replace paper calendars. Digital clocks are ubiquitous. And yet, at year's end, I received 34 calendars sent by charities wanting my money. On a trip to Hawaii, my daughter and I needed our paper map when we slipped out of range of GPS. And what else will be lost when a new generation cannot tell time on a clock face? What will it mean to say a quarter till or half past? Will our hands on the steering wheel still be at 10 and 2? When we tell a group to move clockwise, will they know what to do? And on the whale watching boat, when the cry is, breaching at 2 o'clock, will anyone know where to look?
This is called America. It's by Claude McKay, another writer of the Harlem Renaissance. America, although she feeds me bread of bitterness and sinks into my throat her tiger's tooth, stealing my breath of life, I will confess I love this cultured hell that tests my youth. Her vigor flows like tides into my blood, giving me strength erect against her hate. Her bigness sweeps my being like a flood. Yet, as a rebel fronts a king in state, I stand within her walls with not a shred of terror, malice, nor a word of jeer. Darkly, I gaze into the days ahead and see her might and granite wonders there, beneath the touch of time's unerring hand, like priceless treasures sinking in the sand.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
That's really
That's good.
interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't bear any malice.
Yeah, I found it amazing. No malice, no hate, doesn't become a hater,
Yeah.
but I also like that, the idea of priceless treasures sinking in the sand. because that sort of takes me back to Egypt with the pyramids and civilizations buried, you know, under the sand. And he imagines that someday this one will collapse.
Transformation cuts through my mind like an axe. Crawling out of the debris, uncharted territory. Insight and awkwardness becomes partners, putting the pieces back together. A warm day comes to a frozen heart.
Oh,
Did you write that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So-
that last line just
I like the partnership. I like the partnership of insight and awkwardness.
I was going to say the same thing. Because that awkwardness and what was the other partner?
Insight and
Insight.
awkwardness.
Yeah. Whenever there's something new, you know, when you get a new idea and a new way of doing things, there's that and then the
Yeah.
insight there. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Fred, oh my gosh.